Marcus Hayes, Fight Hub TV, powered by Stagefront VIP, with the one and only, the legendary Mr. Bob Arum. Bob, ahead of another big fight, Thursday, Super Bowl week. Talk to us about how this event came together.
Well, this is great. You know, the Super Bowl is American sports, like New Year's Eve. I mean, it's the biggest event of the year, and so everybody's excited, and we'll have everybody in town, and so it's appropriate that Top Rank put on a great card on ESPN, so all the celebrities who'll be in town will be able to enjoy great boxing matches.
Talk to us about the main event. Jamaine Ortiz, Teofimo Lopez, good fighter in his own right. Jamaine Ortiz getting another shot at one of the top tier guys in the division in Teofimo Lopez. Break the fight down for us, Bob.
Well, Ortiz is a tremendous fighter. You know, he's lost to some really good opponents. He now has the experience to test Teofimo. It's not going to be an easy night for Teofimo. I mean, it's going to be a really competitive fight. Ortiz is a New England kid. You know, you close your eyes when he talks, he sounds just like Marvin Hagler, the late Marvin Hagler. So, I mean, he knows how to fight, and it's going to be a really good night.
You know what, Bob? That is something else that you said. That is exactly what I was thinking just now as I was watching him. I looked at him and I said, oh, my goodness, he reminds me of Marvin Hagler.
You close your eyes.
He looks like a light-skinned version of Marvin Hagler as well.
Close your eyes, it sounds like Hagler.
Especially with the hat on. Do you think
that's amazing? You thought the same thing?
I promise you, Bob, I thought the exact same thing, to the point to where I was going to ask him, is it just a Massachusetts thing that gives him that kind of workman-like attitude?
I think so. Does he come from Brockton or around Brockton? Probably. But again, these guys from Brockton are really working class people, and their cadence and everything reflects that.
Bob, let me ask you, given the fact that last week's events was Shakur Stevenson announcing his retirement, first off, where are you guys with that, and were you surprised when you heard about it?
Well, you got to understand, Stevenson is a really good fighter. I mean, potentially could be one of the best ever in boxing. So a kid like that is very willing to fight anybody, and he's very ambitious, and when things don't break the way he would like, he gets very disappointed and despondent. So I know that he wanted to fight Navarrete, which would have been a great fight, but Navarrete was up there as one of the WBO 1-2, so he's fighting Berenchek for the title, but that's the way boxing works. And Lomachenko had this great opportunity to fight in Australia against Camboza, so he wasn't available. But there are a lot of good fighters out there that Shakur can fight, but I really excuse a lot of what Shakur did, because he is that kind of talent that is getting almost like ahead of himself, because he's so anxious to reach the top. So, you know, he'll be fine in the years ahead. He will be recognized as maybe the great fighter that he wants to be, the greatest fighter in the world, or certainly the greatest fighter of his era.
Bob, as his promoter, how do you navigate him through this kind of pitfall point in his career right now? How do you plan on getting him through this?
You gotta, talk with him. You gotta not lose your cool. not get angry, but talk him through it. I know his his manager, James Prince, is doing that. So, I hope that we'll be able to talk a lot of sense to Shakur, because he is, believe me, a major talent.
Have you actually had a chance to speak with Shakur since the announcement?
No, best thing. He made a mistake. He corrected it. Leave him alone. He's coming to the fight on Thursday,
Okay.
and I'll have plenty of time to speak with him privately.
How interested are you, in lieu of the events that took place, in kind of trying to push the gas on fights between Shakur and guys like Devin Haney or Sabril Matias, guys that are in and around the division, or maybe even a Ryan Garcia?
We'd love that. Question is, do they want to fight him? But certainly the three names that you mentioned, if they were available, we'd do that fight next. Yeah, no question about it. I mean, Shakur has amazing confidence in his abilities, and so do we.
Moving on to the heavyweight division, kind of unfortunate news last week. Tyson Fury sustaining a pretty serious cut over his right eye, postponing the undisputed showdown in Saudi Arabia. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Arum?
Well, I've been in this business so long that these things unfortunately do happen. I mean, just harken back to the Rumble in the Jungle when George Foreman was cut in training, really causing a delay, and that fight subsequently happened a couple of months later. So I think that on May 18th, we're going to see a great heavyweight championship match, and I'm glad that the Saudis were able to postpone it and reschedule it, and it's going to be as great a match on May 18th as it was going to be in February.
And with that, Bob, you mentioned the cut on George Foreman's eye. Do you kind of draw from those experiences? You've got such a vast catalog of knowledge in your mind about boxing and situations. Have you kind of drawn from that? Have you drawn anything from that postponement and moved it into this one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, nothing is exactly the same, but when you review the number of stitches it took to heal the cut.
Do you know how many stitches it took?
I think it was 10 or 11, which
Wow.
is not a lot, because a lot of these injuries, cuts, require 20 or 30 stitches. So I'm, buoyed by the fact that it was only 10 stitches to stitch up the wound. So I think he'll take off a month and he'll be fine. He'll be back in the gym, and I look forward to a terrific fight, because Usyk is a tremendous fighter, and it will be a great event. And finally have a unified heavyweight champion.
And with that fight, the $10 million kind of back-out clause that His Excellency kind of put forth on the fighters. What did you think when you heard that? Did you see the video? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what that clause says, but nobody's backing out. This is going to be a great fight. The money that the kingdom put up for the fighters, for the fight, is very, very generous, and so I'm confident that the fight gets scheduled, and the fight that's been scheduled takes place in May.
Bob, I also wanted to ask you, in other boxing news, there's been a lot of talk and speculation about Canelo Alvarez's next opponent. Maybe Charlo, maybe Benavidez. What do you think about Canelo Alvarez's moves here going forward?
Well, I've been in this business for many, many years. And one thing I've learned, at long last, is don't put my nose in other people's business. So I don't know what Canelo was thinking, what Eddie Reynoso was thinking, and so it would be inappropriate for me to discuss who Canelo's next opponent will be, because I really have no information on it.
What about a fun fight that's coming up on March 30th, and it's Rolly Romero versus Pitbull Cruz? Kind of a fan-friendly fight there.
I like that. I have two good fighters, two, balls ass against the wall kind of fighters, and the fans should be looking forward to a very entertaining fight.
Excellent, Bob. Well, enjoy your time here at Super Bowl week. Where will you be watching the Super Bowl at? Are you going to go to the game?
Well, I was, plans that go awry. I was leaving to go back to L.A., where I have a house, to get ready to go to Saudi Arabia for May 17th. And that didn't happen, so I'll be in Vegas for the Super Bowl. But I've been invited to the Wynn, where they have a great party, and you watch the Super Bowl, and it's a lot less stressful for me to watch it that way than to watch it at Allegiant Stadium, where it'll be parking and all that sort of stuff. So I'm looking forward to this Super Bowl. It should be a tremendous game.
Who's Bob Arum picking?
San Francisco.
Go Niners.
Yeah.
Take care, Bob. Thank you for your time.